Hello, welcome to the OSU Sports Extra podcast. I'm Patrick Prince, joined by Kelly Hines, live and in Stillwater. Nice backdrop. We're coming to you on a Tuesday of Bedlam week. Normally we do Wednesday or Thursday. We're kind of all over the place, but I do know this. It's
Speak for
Tuesday.
yourself. You're all
Huh?
over the place. You're all over the place.
Oh,
You
come
leave,
on. You gotta take some of this.
leave me out of this.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll get to Bedlam in a second. And we'll get to a little basketball in a little bit later. Let's start with Iowa State. Let's recap a little bit.
We can
Iowa
recap
State.
it, but don't get crazy.
Do what?
We can recap it, but don't get crazy.
Well said. Well said. For those of you who got that reference,
It's Bon Quiqui.
it's more fun if you just leave it at that and make them not sure.
In case they didn't pick it up, just Google Bon Quiqui. It's real funny.
It's real funny, and you're not wrong. Okay, much needed win. Iowa State's always a tough out. OSU snapped a 2-game winning streak. You were there. How'd you see it?
2-game losing streak is what they snapped. But
What did I say?
you said winning streak. It's fine.
Oh
A
my
winning
gosh.
streak for their opponents. It's fine.
Wow.
It's fine.
Okay.
We're just gonna gloss it. We're off to a great start as usual.
Wow.
No, I thought it was a really good response from a team that, like Mike Gundy said, we needed a win. Coaches usually aren't that honest. Really appreciate when they are. So much for like, oh, every game is important. No, this team really needed a win. And Iowa State was a team that they could beat. But Iowa State's defense is pretty good. It has some really good pieces on offense. So it wasn't just like a slam dunk. And, the defense I thought played really well, especially in the fourth quarter. To not have any sacks in like the previous 2 games and have 4 in the fourth quarter. A lot of that was dictated by what Iowa State was trying to, when they're trying to throw the ball because they're down in the fourth quarter, they're going to be a lot easier to apply pressure and get sacks. But still, you have to go out there and make a play. And nothing is guaranteed in that situation. But I thought the defense played really well. Kendall Daniels, who I know you're a big fan of, as we all are, he had a really good game. And the quarterback situation was weird. It was super weird. I don't think I've ever covered a team that has started 3 different quarterbacks in 3 consecutive weeks. That's pretty weird. And then, but really the weirdest moment of the game was, there was a moment when Gundy lost his helmet and had to come out for a play, and Garrett Rangel starts to go on the field, and then he like takes a step back, and then Spencer Sanders goes on the field. And I was like, what are we doing here? So, they had said on the radio broadcast, those guys were both suited up for like emergencies only. Like if they which to me, an emergency was something like, they need a guy to come in for one play. That didn't work out very well on that fourth and short play that Spencer came in on. But, obviously, when you have a quarterback like Spencer Sanders, who he wants to play, he's like, it's fine that I'm in pain and that, I'm not 100%. I think I can go out there and win this game. And he did. But I think what really impressed me the most talking to him after the game was he was like that. Please don't like credit me with this win. Like this is a team win. This was my part of it. My part of it was coming in the fourth quarter and getting us to where we need to be on offense so that we could be in position to win the game. He says the right things. But still, I thought, to overcome all of those issues on offense, to rely on the defense to get that win, and for Spencer to do what he did, it was an impressive win, especially considering where the previous couple of weeks with what the team has gone through. And I hate to talk about like adversity, like so many things are going wrong in the world, and it's like this football team lost 2 games and had to overcome a lot, but still that's a difficult situation for a team that's young and relying on some inexperienced guys. So I thought it was a good one.
So Spencer did talk in the post game. Did he? I assume he didn't bring up health to any degree. We don't really know how he's doing.
I mean, he kind of just downplays everything. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm fine. It's fine." That's how I'd be like. I'm like my arms falling. There's nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Yeah. But that's just kind of how he is. Like he's never really seemed comfortable doing. He doesn't like. He'll do interviews. He's not going to complain. It's just like he's never going to just be like, I would love nothing more than to talk to the media after this game, like win or lose. anything like that. Like, he's not really that type of quarterback. And I think, how Brandon Whedon was when he was at OSU, that was, a lifetime ago, but I was around the program then, and with him being so much older, it's almost like he's a professional athlete, and he was so good in talking to the media. And I think you deal with someone like that and you get so spoiled. And Spencer Sanders is a quarterback who he would just rather not talk about himself, rather not talk about, really anything to the media. But he doesn't really answer questions about that. You can ask him, how are you feeling? I'm fine. I feel fine. I feel good. But, after games, I think he's still, dealing with the adrenaline factor, and it hasn't quite set in yet. I think it's Sundays when players really start to feel it.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Bedlam a little bit. 6:30 kickoff, PM kickoff, or nighttime kickoff in Norman.
Not AM. Will not be there at 6:30 a.m.
Well, the 2:30 streak is officially broken for OSU. What 7 games? Was that right?
Seven in a row. I just kind of had that locked in on my calendar, and now for that to not be the case, I don't know that I can just switch to different time, and especially to go from the 6:30 to the 11, for the West Virginia game. I mean, that's asking a lot of me, really. Asking a lot.
You don't like changes.
I do not do well with changes. I really got into the routine of the 2:30 because I knew exactly what time I needed to get up, exactly what time I needed to leave, like when I wanted to be in the parking garage, when the pregame radio show start, all of those things. It was just like clockwork. And now this week, I don't know how I'm going to function.
Are you one of those crazy riders that gets to the press box 4 hours early, like some people that we know mention?
I always start off the season as one of those people. Now, as it's getting later into the season, and I'm not going to say that it's a grind, but it is a grind.
Certainly it is. Yeah,
it just maybe I'm not getting there as early as I did to start the year, but I do love, with road games, I love getting there as early as possible, because you're like, oh, I don't, especially when I covered Tulsa and I'd go to places I'd never been before. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what the traffic situation is going to be. I better leave 4 hours early, or if you're like, oh, I don't remember where the parking garage is, it may take me longer to find. And then suddenly you're in the press box 3 hours before the game, and you're like, I feel like I didn't need to leave as early. But then if the one time you cut it close and you're like, oh, I know where it is, it's not going to be a problem, then you're so stressed trying to get there that you're like, I shouldn't do this again. So it's never in between for me. It's always way too early or cutting it close. So the ideal version of me would be finding a middle ground, and I've never been able to achieve that really in real life either. I'm either running behind or I'm too early.
Yeah.
Sounds like a time management issue, doesn't it?
It could. I wasn't going to say that, but that's one might deduce that. Yes. All right. Bedlam marquee matchups.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about Bedlam. That's a thing that's happening this week.
Yeah. My simple question, you went on for 3 minutes on it.
That's normal.
Well, so the interesting thing about Bedlam is, we have 2 in-state teams, and you're obviously OSU focused. That's your beat. But you read all the OU stories. You see the games. I mean, you have.
I don't see as many of the games as I would like, and that's the challenge of when you cover a college football team, you see one, especially with the 2:30 games, which I'm not going to revisit that, but when you cover a team that plays at 2:30, oftentimes OU plays at 11. So with those 2:30 games, I'd see a quarter before I'd be like, oh, I'm going to have to walk away from this, not knowing really how it's going to go. So typically we try to catch the end of those games in the press box, because that the end of the West Virginia game, we saw the conclusion of that right before the OSU game started. But that's the challenge of especially in the Big 12, there have been so many interesting games this year. But if there's a night game, which I did get home in time to see the end of the TCU Texas game the other night, but you miss most of the night games too when you're covering the 2:30 games. But I have seen a little bit of OU, enough to know that it's been a weird season for them too. And I've obviously read enough to know that things have not really gone according to plan, but at the same time, you're like, well, it is like a whole new system, a new coaching staff, and you have to think about big picture in terms of, laying the foundation for something that's to come. It just, maybe that foundation doesn't look exactly like how we all thought it would. Maybe it's more about the culture, and maybe the results of this season, they'll look back on some really, I don't know, a turning point or something that could happen late in the season this year that can lay the foundation. I think how a team finishes is more important than how it starts. And that's why I think these last couple of weeks are so important for OU to show that this wasn't just a wasted season. This was, there could be still something special that comes with this group, this coaching staff. It just maybe is next year. Maybe it isn't next year. Maybe it's the year after that. Maybe it doesn't happen at all. We don't know. But I feel like, expectations can be unfair at times. And I feel like OSU somewhat was a victim of that too. But the way OSU started the season, you still thought that those things were within reach. Whereas it became more apparent what the deal was with OU. Like it was a little bit more obvious early on.
Yeah.
I don't remember what your question was.
I may not have had a very specific one. Probably not. Okay, so matchups on the field. This game comes down to what for you?
Well, OSU's deal in recent weeks has been trying to run the ball, trying to stop the run. So, oh man, I don't know. I have to come up with a prediction for this game by like tomorrow, because somebody's on my case about that. And I really
5 o'clock tomorrow. 5 o'clock tomorrow.
5 o'clock. It's fine. I'll figure that out. I just don't. I go back and forth on this because OSU still has not been able to run the ball. It against good rushing teams has not been able to stop anyone. So I think that's a little bit of a dangerous situation with OU, because I think OU has a pretty good running back, and OSU's run game still has its issues that I don't care what defense you're going up against, you're going to have some challenges. Obviously OU's defense has some weaknesses. But I think a lot of the issues with OSU's run game has been OSU, and it's not been so much about the other team. So I don't know that that's something that can be like just easily fixed. I think it's somewhat been a mystery as to why it's happened the way it's happened. I think a lot of it has had to do with just having different guys up front. Preston Wilson has been injured. He's such a key part of the offense and in a very underrated way. They've had other offensive linemen. I think everyone's banged up at this point, but they've had offensive linemen miss games. And the run game just hasn't been able to develop in a way that I thought the potential was there. Like, even with having to replace 3 of the top 4 running backs from last season, and not having a guy like Jalen Warren, having a physical runner like Dominic Richardson, I thought he'd still be able to do some things, but he's been banged up for sure. I mean, he's missed a game. I think Jaden Nixon and Ollie Gordon, who also has been banged up, I think those are guys with a ton of potential. And Jaden Nixon, I think we've seen that from him, but things have just not fallen into place in a way that like I would feel confident in that improving this week. The one thing that does help OSU is having Spencer Sanders, who said he's going to play. Spencer Sanders at 50%, at 40%, at 30%. Like, you still feel like you have a chance to win with that guy when he's out there. It just, if he gets, injured and can't go, like, I would especially be concerned for OSU's offense, just because he's such a key part of that. And I think the way he came in against Iowa State, it sparked the whole team, because everyone wants to go win a game for that guy, because he's literally sacrificing his body and trying to make it happen. I think his willingness to, fight through all of the pain and all of that, I think everyone wants to see it work out well for him. They want to win for him. But I just feel like this is, I don't know, Bedlam's unpredictable. I don't have a great feeling about it from OSU's perspective, just because of all of the things that they're dealing with. They do have some momentum coming off last week, but OU has a lot to play for, and it's in Norman. I don't know. I could go either way. You could persuade me to pick one team over the other, but I don't love the matchup for OSU because they're going to have to stop the run game and they're going to have to get its run game going. And I just don't know if that's going to be possible.
You could just from watching on TV, you could feel the energy change when Spencer Sanders came on the field. You can't, sometimes even on TV, you can see it and feel it a little bit, and sometimes you can't. But it was like you said, they wanted to play for that guy, and he's such a leader, been there so long. It was obvious, even on TV. I mean, when he came in, things changed.
Yeah, and the crowd was it was cold, and it had been a weird game to that point, and even the crowd was suddenly into it. Like there was just an excitement in the air because like fans love Spencer. Like, even though I do think that he, like, by the people on Twitter, probably more than anyone else, I think he's underappreciated for what he's been able to do like throughout his career, like win games. I feel like, there's just a different level of excitement when he's out there, and that's not anything against Gunner or Garrett. I mean, they're young, they're going to have plenty of opportunities in their careers to make plays, but Spencer just brings a different air, just because he can make things happen that nobody else can. So when he's out there, I mean, just like, up until that point, OSU had not converted on third down, and there was a third down play that he just scrambled and got, picked up the first down. And then on the next play, that's when he's able to draw the defense to him, because now they're like, oh, I guess we have to go after this guy. And then Jay Nixon breaks open and he's able to throw to him for a touchdown. And it's just different with Spencer out there. And he's obviously cut down on the turnovers a lot, but really he's just able to make things happen in a way that only a fourth year starting quarterback could, on a consistent basis. So I think having him, if he weren't playing this week, I would absolutely not feel good about OSU's chances. But anytime Spencer's out there, even not healthy, I think that gives OSU a chance. I just have seen what this team looks like, when it becomes one dimensional, when the defense knows, well, they can't run the ball, so like we're just gonna have to shut down their passing game. That's a lot easier to do when one thing isn't working. They could just focus on the other. So I don't know. I do think that there'll be an opportunity for it to be a high scoring game if OSU's offense clicks. Its defense played well, in the fourth quarter, but that was against Iowa State. OU still has some really good weapons.
Oh yeah, 100% they do. The line that I saw was 7.5. Have you seen that? That seems high to me. Does that seem high to you?
I don't think that Vegas knows what to do with OU anymore, or with OSU. They're probably like, that's a game that if I were betting, I would stay so far away from. Like, but I saw the lines on quite a few games this week, and there were games that I was like, oh man, I have no idea what to do. What is it? Kansas State, West Virginia. Gosh, I can't remember the other games. Who does TCU play? Baylor, maybe? I don't remember. There were several games that I was like, yeah, no, just based on what the line was, I was like, I don't know about that. But the Bedlam one was one that I was like, oh, there's absolutely no way I would advise someone to bet on that game. That seems like, but maybe Vegas knows something we don't.
Which does happen.
That happen.
Yes, it does. So maybe seem kind of high, but you're right. Maybe they know something. All right. Anything else on football? You want to talk hoops a little bit?
Let's talk basketball. Let's do it.
Let's talk basketball. So Mike Boynton's crew is 1-1. They're going to the Bahamas this weekend. You will not be going. What do you think about what you've seen so far out of the Cowboys?
That they're not 1-1. They're 2-1, right? We talked about this. I think they're 2-1. Yeah. They played. I'm sorry. So
that's hard.
Mathematics 1 + 1 + 1. It got hard there for a minute.
Just give me a minute.
So the loss Thursday against Southern Illinois was a game that OSU could have won, but I felt like the way that they responded to that and went up and won at Oakland, which is historically been a difficult place for anyone to win it, and played so well in that I feel like that loss, in the second game of the season it could end up being a turning point and something that they learned a lot from early on. And obviously when you're able to shoot well on threes on the road, that's going to generally work out pretty well for you, and that's what happened. 5 players combined for 12 threes. John Michael Wright, who's a transfer guard from High Point, he played really well in that game. Caleb Asbury, transfer guard from Texas State, he did some really good things. I think that it's going to be difficult to be consistent, especially early in the season. But I feel like I still feel really good about the pieces that this team has, especially when you have a 7-footer like Musa Cisse, who can do some really, really good things. Not so much at the free throw line, but else, pretty much everything else he does is really solid. I really like his personality and just like what he brings to the table. And in addition to what he can do like physically on the court. So yeah, that game here was, a little bit of a disappointment because it kind of slipped away, partially because of some missed free throws. But I feel like this trip to the Bahamas is an opportunity for the team to continue to gel a little bit more. And I think that's the point of these early season tournaments, is you get away from everything. It's not a road trip in terms, it's a neutral site situation, but you spend more time together during that time. And I think that's when you can get some things accomplished that can result in confidence for your guys and just better chemistry down the road. So cool opportunity for the team. Mike Boynton said he's not a beach guy, he's not a mountains guy, he's a homebody type, which is interesting. I know you're a beach guy, so try not to hold that against him.
I'm holding that against him.
Yeah, I know. So I had to share that with you. But for the players, they're super excited to go on this trip. Most of them have never been out of the country before. They had to get their passports and everything. It's just kind of an exciting thing, even though it is like a business trip, as they say. Like, it'll be a cool opportunity for them to do something different. And I think there's a lot of bonding involved in that. So they play some good teams. They start with UCF, which is has been an athletic, good shooting team for the last few years. And I think that's going to be a good challenge. So yeah, I think they're going to end up being in a decent spot out of this trip. And then the next home game is against a team that I know a little bit about, called Tulsa. So they will be playing that game here on Black Friday. Did I tell you how much tickets are?
No, how much are tickets?
Tickets are $1.
No kidding.
$1. So look around in your couch cushions and your car console and try to come up with a dollar. We could probably get you a credential, but like for anyone else out there, it's literally $1. But I will tell you, like I've been because I know people hate when the media complains, but they don't serve food here for the media, which is fine. It's totally fine. It's okay. I'm not complaining. That's not a complaint. I have water. It's fine. Pepsi products, which are not my favorite, but it's fine. I love it here. Everything's fine. But I have been getting dinner at the concession stand, and it is averaging about $20 for me. Maybe because I am choosing the best options here, which the options here for concessions have improved drastically. So they had so far this season, I've eaten Freddy's and Dirty Curdy's. And if Dirty Curdy's want to sponsor this podcast, that'd be great.
No kidding.
Like it.
Some ad opportunities here.
And then Mazio's is the other that I've had. So I'm just choosing from all of them. So even though it would cost you only $1 to get in, like, probably should bring budget accordingly if you're going to want to eat anything when you're here. But I found that to be pretty shocking. It is like a Black Friday special or whatever, but it's like, isn't everyone over the holidays at that point anyway? Like, it's Friday night, like we've moved on from Thanksgiving. Like if the issue is that people are going to be less likely to go to a game like the day after Thanksgiving. Like, is that what it takes to get people to like leave their families? Like, it's only $1.
Well, but even if families are still here, that would be a good little outing, is
Or
round them up.
maybe that's how they can, get people to like you could literally bring grandma, bring all the cousins. It's $1 a piece. No one can eat though. Like you're on your own. But is it also maybe a statement about where the programs are? I don't know. Or maybe is it a statement about college basketball and college basketball attendance? I don't know what to take from that.
That's probably more what, yeah.
Like, I don't think this is necessarily like an OSU and a Tulsa problem. It might be a little bit, but I was really surprised to see that it's been only, and okay, I say that's for like the general admission tickets. That's not for like, you're not going to get like courtside for $1. Like it's going to be a little bit more than that. Like don't have unrealistic expectations with that, but it's been $5 for the other non-conference games, and that's like some sort of like special that it's only $1. But that surprised me a lot.
Interesting. Well, I'd really like to go to that game. I'd like to get to an early OSU game in basketball when I can, and the same with TU. And if I can knock them both out,
just knock them both out. I will say, having read John Tranchina's story about the new atmosphere and updates at the Reynolds Center for Tulsa games, I would like to get over there to see a basketball game. They do the thing with the video on the court, that I think is really cool. I'm easily impressed with like lights and stuff like that. So I would like to see that. But I am gonna go to, just to reveal like all of my plans here, I am gonna go to the Tulsa football game on Friday because I can, and I don't have anything better to do. So it doesn't start till 8:00. So I'm gonna have to take a nap first.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else on your mind, or shall we leave it there for this week?
That's probably good. I haven't watched any TV recently. Someone was talking about Yellowstone earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna watch that someday.
Okay, Kelly, Yellowstone season 5 premiered and Tulsa King premiered. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch those. Maybe after football season.
That's fair. So Yellowstone ran 2 episodes. They called it a 2-hour whatever. Well, it was just 2 1-hour episodes. I felt that was
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, no, like I thought one episode was going to be 2 hours long, like a 2-hour opener, but it was just one episode. And then
this is the biggest disappointment in your life. It sounds like things are going really well for you.
Well, I didn't say it was the biggest. I just started.
You sound really disappointed.
A little bit, because that's how much I love the show. My wife says I can't watch any more Office reruns, so I'm trying to get back into Yellowstone. And
I've been watching Office reruns because like sometimes I just need something like to just like be on, and for me to just like have a distraction from like reality, and so I'll just have it on. But the thing that bothers me the most, now that you brought it up, is like I'll have an episode, because it plays on like what, TBS a lot, is that what it's on, whatever channel that
one of them it's
so like I'll have it on, like I'll and it's been a few weeks since I've been able to do this because things have been a little hectic, but a few weeks ago I watched an episode of The Office on TBS, and then a few days later, I'm like, it's on again. What a coincidence. And it was like the same episode. And I was like, but like, I literally just watched this like less than a week ago. Like, how is that possible? And that's why when I watched Modern Family all the way through, like first episode to however many, 10 episodes? I don't remember how many episodes.
I think it was 11.
Seasons, 10 or 11 seasons. Yeah. I had the control of that. So I'd like watch 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. And then like a few days later, I'd, pick it up. And so you're watching them all in succession. And so you're not ever seeing the same episode twice. I did the same thing with, can I say Schitt's Creek? Can I say that? I don't know.
Well, I don't think that's how they say it. Is it? It's
how did they say it?
Well, I don't know, because I'll get it wrong.
Isn't that how you say it?
Sure, we'll just call it there.
We'll call it there. that's when I watched it, it was the same thing. You know, I didn't ever see the same episode twice. And now anytime I see the same episode in a short amount of time, I can't do it. I'm like, this isn't funny to me like it was like 4 days ago. Like it's not, no, I literally just I can quote this, like it's not funny. So that's been a disappointment with Office. I should just be playing it like I did with the other shows. But like a lot of the episodes I'm like, oh, I didn't care for this one, and then I want to like go to the next one, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't really like this one, then I'll go to the next one, and then it's pointless at that point.
So there's a cool scene at the very end of Tulsa King, the first episode.
Oh, you're just gonna run it for me?
Oh, well, are you gonna watch it? I won't. If
It's hard to say.
This won't ruin anything, I
Okay.
promise. This is not a big reveal. It was just, and if you're not from Tulsa, you probably don't care. But there's a cool scene at the end where he moves to the Mayo Hotel in the middle of the episode after his driver put him up in a not so good hotel. And Stallone was like, "Why am I not at a really cool hotel like this Mayo they're talking about?" And he said, "We wanted to be inconspicuous." He goes, "No, take me to the Mayo." So he goes to the Mayo, and the last scene is him on whatever floor with kind of the Arkansas River in the background, and there's actually water in the part of the river that they show.
Do you think they like Photoshop that, or is that
It's
like
possible? It's possible,
like
but it looks
really
good.
Okay, so okay. I
It's-
always like it makes me nervous watching anything that's like based, you know, in our city, because I'm like, are they, because like it isn't like the poster or whatever for that show, like isn't there, aren't there construction cones like in the background, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's accurate, but did they have to do it?
Yeah, it's not exactly. It's not wrong, but is it really the face you want to put forward? No. It's a good.
I'm like, they couldn't edit that out. They couldn't find a different angle. Like, is that really how it has to be? But it is accurate.
Of all the people on the set for that shot, nobody said, "Hey, let's get rid of the cones," or let's.
Can you not just have them move the cones just for this? Like,
yeah, just they got so. But anyway, it's a cool show. I liked it. I'll keep watching it. And
so when did the episodes come out?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. And Yellowstone is what, like Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday, or?
I don't know if they're going to stay on Sunday or what. I don't know.
I'm asking because I won't remember that or care.
Sunday night's not a bad night for you though to catch some TV.
Sunday night isn't a bad night. That's usually when is your self-care mode. I'm like, putting on lotion and my face mask and all of my little like self-care rituals. I do, light a candle, listen to Taylor Swift, the normal Sunday night girl things. But I could maybe make some room in my schedule for that. Maybe, I don't know about 2 hours. 1 hour I could probably do.
We'll do Tulsa King just because it's
that's 1 hour.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I can commit to. As long as it's an hour, it's not happening.
When is your basketball poll due each week?
Thanks for reminding me about that. That's also Sunday night. So that's definitely part of my Sunday night.
Well, we should remind people yet again that you are a college basketball poll voter for how many years in a row?
Well, I took a break there for a while and it was amazing. I don't at all regret saying I would do it again. Don't at all regret that. I've done it, I don't know, 7 or 8 years out of the past like 10. So at one point I was the only female voter, and I felt like for sure an obligation to continue doing it because they needed better representation. I think there are a couple other female voters now. They asked me to do it again. I'm the only voter from Oklahoma, so basically what that means is other people have better boundaries than I do, and they are able to say no when asked to do it. And they come to me and ask if I'll do it, and I'm like, they're like, we don't have anyone else to do it. That's not exactly what they say. That's what I hear. They're basically like, you were not our first choice, but you still have a login from when you did it before, and you take it really seriously, and probably too seriously. and no one else wants to do this. Again, that's not at all what they say. They're just like, hey, could you do this again? And I'm like, sure, no problem. And so it's due on Sunday nights. This time of year is kind of hard because there are, especially like this coming Sunday, there'll be a lot of Sunday night games. Okay, no, it's not due Sunday nights. It's due by like first thing Monday morning. So
that's what I thought.
So like there definitely aren't any games that haven't concluded, like when you're doing, so you have to wait for all the games to conclude. And so like this week will be more of a challenge because there'll be Sunday night games, including like OSU could be playing on Sunday night, which I'll probably watch that. But it's I'm not gonna say a thankless thing, a lot of what we do, it's like there's not really any like benefit for me, but it does force me to pay closer attention.
Sure.
And I don't dislike that. It's just I watch more college basketball because I'm like, oh, I'm a voter. I need to see that Duke Kansas game because I'm there they've been on my poll and I have to, and then we also do the All-America team. So we do preseason All-America and then obviously, All-America selections when the season's wrapping up. And I don't hate it as much as what it sounds like. It's, I think, important and it's fine. So I do that.
You're kidding around, but I know you take that very seriously. So
I take everything too seriously, and that's on me. So
that's another conversation. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, we could do a whole different podcast taping on that. I'm sure there'd be a lot of people who could probably relate to that. Like being a perfectionist is not ideal. And that's like a therapy session instead of like maybe a podcast topic.
That's fair. Okay, we're gonna leave it right there. So Bedlam,
ending things on a good note as usual.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on therapy. So Bedlam 6:30. Kelly.
Yeah, Bedlam's happening this week. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have Kelly there. We'll have several other writers there. We'll have
everyone will be there.
Pretty much. I'm gonna be the only one who's not. So complete coverage online Saturday night, and you can read everything in the Sunday Tulsa World. Kelly, always appreciate the knowledge, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, sounds good.